Hey, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Like this video, man. Comment down below. Let me know where y'all from. Let me know if you're a fan of Takeoff, Migos, Young Dolph. Let's get right into it, man. We got some big breaking news coming straight out of the Houston. You got to hear what the sources are saying, man. Hey, we just spoke with them. They just got off and told us about how Lil Cam and the DJ Pat guy is actually best friends. They actually hang out like every single day. They dang near cousins almost, they said. And so the fact is that they know each other. So they actually sat down at a table at some point, like the night before, the night at 2 days before, and they were talking about how they were going to do this, how they were going to split up the money and everything, if they were going to get any jewelry out of it. And they knew that they were coming. And so they already made sure to get their tickets to the party, to get the invites, make the calls that they needed to do. And that's how this whole thing came about, man. We don't know if they went and talked to MobTies personally or if they just found a way to finesse the invite, the entry pass. You got to understand, not every single person gets an entry pass. So how did Lil Cam and DJ Pat, if they cousins, get that together? So somebody knows them from the inside. Somebody knows them from that backdoor situation through MobTies. You got to understand that. MobTies, when they sent out the invites, they didn't know that it was going to happen where it was Lil Cam and his cousin DJ Pat, and who else knows? Like whoever drove them, because Lil Cam not supposed to drive and neither is DJ Pat. Both of them at least revoked or not even supposed to be on the road like that. So somebody had to drive them to make sure that they didn't get stopped before even going to the party or going to the everywhere that they went that entire weekend. People had put it on all over because they were on Instagram, they were on IG, they were on Facebook and everything like that. And what they was doing was they was basically bragging the whole month before that Lil Cam got caught. And then he actually pointed out to DJ Pat, because he ended up snitching on him within a week. He ended up telling on him because he knew exactly who he came with that night. Them two know exactly who did it and who came with them and dropped them off and how they got away, the whole story, who paid and everything. So they about to spill all the beans. They about to sing like the birds, man. Let me know what y'all think about all that, because they should have never did this, man. This shouldn't have happened to Takeoff like that. You know, Takeoff was one of the good ones. He was about to take them to the next level, but nah, these dudes had to get in the way. You just got to remember, it's just like the Dolph situation where they had the two fall guys. Everybody's saying that these are the fall guys and that they know who actually was doing it and who put the pieces together, the puzzle, and who was doing the chess moves. And because the whole thing is that these two are the crash test dummies. So you got to understand that the whole thing came from a whole bigger, higher up, somebody's boss, you know. They had to answer to somebody and they got the invites. So that's a whole connection right there. And that's what people are talking about. And another thing people are talking about is the fact that when DJ Pat got caught, they were saying he tried to take off running and he hopped the fence. You know how it is when there's those little alleys and the cuts in Houston. If you from Houston, you would know that all those little cuts and things, you would know where to go. So he tried to jump the fence and hit one of those little alleys. When he was in the alleys, it was gravel. So he slipped on a pebble and they all jumped on him, boom, and they dogpiled him. And basically that's how they got him under control. And then he got up and he was crying, talking about he wanted to call his mama and everything. And they said that you should have thought about that before you try to do that to Takeoff. So he got his justice real quick right there, right that moment and everything. And, they were getting him in and dragging him in and everything. So what you guys got to understand is that their whole plan failed very quickly and they ended up telling everything. And so now both of them are sitting there together. They gave them food to tell about the whole story. They got it on tape. They got them to write everything. They even got them to reenact it and the whole thing. They play roles and everything like that. And so they got them to tell the whole story just to get the 200 years off they plate. They looking at a little bit less now, and they trying to find the third and fourth person now. They out there like actually looking for them. They're doing stakeouts. They basically like peeping out the windows, using binoculars and x-ray vision to try to find who the third and fourth person is, and whoever it is that Lil Cam and the Pat dude is about to tell on next. Because you got to understand, it's not safe for anybody who had anything involved in that, because they're about to get caught with the whole fact that they telling so quickly, and they just got one and two people so quickly. They're about to get the whole round up, the whole thing. And they said that all 40 people dipped out without even giving no type of name, nothing like that, saying what happened. And so they ended up finding and contacting all of them. So, like everybody out of that, somebody had to tell as well to get all these things put in place for them to even get Lil Cam and the people who was doing the whole thing with argument and everything like that. Anybody else who has something to, like, they all talked to those people, and that's how they ended up to find out exactly what happened. And then now they getting all the juicy details that's coming out of Lil Cam and all of that stuff with DJ Pat, and they getting all the extras about how there's even more to it now. There's even more to it. It spun them into a whole nother direction. And now it's like, look at the fact that they're telling so much, and that there's a person who dropped them off, the getaway driver. Like, they looking for the getaway driver right now. That guy could be all the way in Alaska. You never know. And so what you got to understand is that Lil Cam and them know exactly who did it. So that's why they pressing them so, they pressing them, putting pressure on them, putting them on the hot seat every single day. They're asking them 100 different type of questions and having them repeat everything, trying to see if they slip up, trying to see if they're going to switch up their stories or be, and then when one person goes into the room and they talk, and then the other person comes in, they tell them that they already told on them and so that they did it. They're trying to get them to tell on each other, basically, and figure out exactly who it was that did it. They're saying it was Pat that did it, which is crazy. Because then how is it that Lil Cam had that right there? So what's he going to be? So you got to understand that they're going to try to tell on Migo bands next, both of them, because they want to get every single person that had the blick or whatever. They're trying to get all of them, because they're going to probably tell on Migo bands and say that that scared them or whatever, and that they were scared and that to defend and this and that. So that's how they're going to try to get the third and fourth people. And then Migo bands is going to have to tell his side of the story, but he probably dipped without giving the statement. He one of the 40 people that might have dipped, so they had to track him down and everything like that. They had to find him. And so that's the word that's coming out of Atlanta, is that they saying up there in North Atlanta that Migo bands was walking around or whatever like that. He was riding with this girl, and then all of a sudden, boom, somebody popped up in his window when he thought he was getting a carry out curbside delivery, and the dude popped up with the food, and he took a mustache off and the glasses, and he pulled out his badge and he said, "Hey, you got to come with us. We got some questions about what happened at the bowling alley between you and Migos and all that whole MobTies and this and that." And so that's when they got Migo bands and had to get his side of the story, and he had to try to figure out a way where he doesn't get caught up in a jam. So he tried to say that they scared him. And so everybody's saying that they got scared, and that's why they had their blicky and everything like that. And so basically they all telling on each other, and that's how this whole thing is coming down. They might all end up going down for this. You never know with the way everything is and how serious it is and how high profile this whole thing is. It's Takeoff, and it's part of the Migos, and it's MobTies was there. It was their party with Jazz and Junior, and they got to pretty much tell their side of the story. You never know, because the QC people, the people who are the whatever in QC, the owners, they're saying that Jazz and Junior they got to be put in the hot seat and figure out exactly what they did, because they're saying they got to answer to it. And so whether that's between them or not, so that's one thing that they got between going on in themselves. That's what QC said out of their own thing. That's what the report was coming out, and people talking about it right now. And so what's going on is that this whole thing got all these people in the mix, all the back and forth and everything. People are talking. It's a mess right now. And when you really look at it, this shouldn't have even happened. And now you got all these people telling and singing and all that. And man, it's looking bad right now for Houston. It's looking bad for pretty much anybody who was at that party and everything. You didn't know what you got yourself into. And so you thought that the people that it was going to be a quick plan or whatever, but the plan ended up diverting, and this happened and that happened. And now you got the two people that got locked up, and they pressed them and they spoke. And then now You got Migo bands that they just ran up on him and tried to figure out what's going on with him. And he had to pretty much say that, you know, whatever do to get himself out that. And they still probably talking to him right now. They talking to all three of them and trying to get the fourth guy. But the thing is that they have to do it one by one and keep trying to get approvals and this and that. They got to get the signatures and everything to make sure it goes through that they could do it. And so that's why it's taken, so it might be a few more months before they get this whole thing like pretty much in order from start to finish of exactly what happened and who did what, who had the, so stay tuned because there's going to be some more details coming out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment on down below, and I'm going to catch you on the next one with some breaking news.